What's up, guys? Obviously, it's Captain Obvious, and welcome to Breaking Down Battlefield 3. Today's episode will be dedicated to telling you guys the basics of suppression before I move into more videos in the future telling you exactly what suppression is and how it will affect you. Today's video we're basically talking about the weapon values and what it will do to you, but later on in this series I'll be discussing weapon-specific changes based upon light machine guns, PDWs, shotguns, and things like that. And I'll also be giving you guys some demonstrations to show how your recoil and accuracy will change under different suppression values. I'm trying to, show you guys exactly how much of your accuracy and recoil will change so you guys can adapt your game style to that whenever you're under some kind of suppression. Now, before I start talking about suppression, I want to say a few things about the gameplay. Bear with me, my aim will be a little off in the game, so don't really, bash on me for that. The reason for that is because I'm getting used to a new weapon, and it's hard to get used to new weapons for me because I don't play Battlefield with aim assist on. So it's sort of difficult to adapt to the new recoil patterns, but, nonetheless, just realize that it's just me adapting to a new weapon because of the new recoil patterns. But that really isn't important in today's video. Let's talk about suppression. To begin with, let's go over the effects of suppression and how it will affect you on the battlefield and how it will change your gameplay. The two most obvious effects suppression will have on you are the blurring of your screen and hearing loss. Whenever you are suppressed by a bullet, that means when a bullet goes past you without hitting you, you will gain a blurriness to your screen. It will change based upon how many bullets have gone past you in a certain amount of time. There are two factors that dictate this. One is the type of bullet and the type of weapon it is being fired out of, and the suppressive timer, which will reset your suppressive effect to 0 after a certain amount of time. In addition to being visually impaired, you will also be audibly impaired, meaning you will not be able to hear the things going on around you as easily. If you have a headset and you're trying to locate where enemies are shooting at you from by either their footstep sounds or by the place where the bullet's being fired from, this is a very big effect on how you will play your game. It always messes me up because I have no idea where the enemy's coming from, and a lot of the times I try to pinpoint bullet locations by trying to see where the suppressive effect is sort of coming from, and I also try to hear where the bullet is coming from in the distance. So this is a big detriment to your gameplay, and I always recommend trying to adapt to it by taking cover when your screen is being blurred and you lose hearing because you play a whole lot worse not knowing where the enemy is. In addition to qualitative effects, suppression also has some quantitative effects. And now quantitative means numbers assigned to it. That is your recoil increase and your accuracy loss. So every single time a bullet whizzes past your body or your head or whatnot, your accuracy and recoil will either go down or go up depending upon which it is. You gotta understand that this is the biggest effect suppression will have on you. So you always have to understand how much you're being suppressed and how much you'll have to adapt for your increased recoil and your decreased accuracy. I'm going to give you guys an example about what I really understand this to be. In the future, I'll look into it a little bit more, and I'll try to give you guys the best information, but as of this point, I have not completely understood suppression, but this is what I expect it to be. Alright, so each weapon has a specific suppressive effect assigned to it, and you can realize or understand what those are when you watch the armory, and I tell you exactly what that effect is sometime in that video. Most of the assault rifles and carbines have a suppressive effect of 7%. What I understand based upon this is that 7% will change the accuracy and your recoil by 7%. So basically you're multiplying the value of your recoil. Let's just take vertical recoil into consideration and example. Let's multiply a 0.2 vertical recoil by 1.07. So after doing that math equation, your result is 0.214. So basically you gain a 0.014 recoil when you are under a suppressive effect of only one bullet. Now, a heavy barrel usually adds around 0.3. So you can imagine that being suppressed by two bullets at a suppressive effect of 7% each, you will have the vertical recoil of basically a heavy barrel when you don't have the heavy barrel on it. So this effect on your recoil is extreme. You have to counter it, take cover, and you have to adapt to your situation by making sure your recoil does not get lost too much. After that first bullet whizzes past your head, that's when it gets kind of complicated. When you have that 7% suppressive effect added onto your vertical recoil, to make it 0.214. I'm not quite certain if you multiply it again by 7% to get your next value at your 14% suppressive effect, or if you add on 0.014 again based upon the initial recoil increase. I'm not quite certain about this yet. I will figure out it in the future. I'm sort of leaning toward the former, where you multiply again by 7% based upon what your value is after the first 7% increase. I could be wrong though. I'll look into it in the future. But as of right now, I'm going to go with the former, but the latter is a whole lot better because that means your recoil will increase a whole lot less. When adding the 0.014 every time, it's a linear equation. That means you'll increase the same amount every single time. Initially on the graph, if we had this in graph form, I wish I could do that for you. Maybe I'll do that in the future. But initially, it will be higher than it is if you had an exponential graph, where every single time you multiply it by 7% and you're not adding on that 0.014, sorry. It's really confusing. I'll put it in the graph form hopefully in the future, but if you guys can really understand what I'm trying to say right now, that would be great. So it's either a linear equation versus an exponential equation, where you're trying to see whether or not it will increase exponentially, which would be worse, versus it would just be a simple addition problem and it's increasing linearly. So down in the comments section, let me know if you guys want to see a graph of this in the future, or if my insanely confusing math today is enough for you. And the final factor that goes into how much you're affected by suppression is your vulnerability to it. We're going to assume in this video series, continuing on throughout these videos, that this vulnerability is just 1, meaning you are not affected by suppression any more or less than that 7%, 10%, 35% value that is assigned to the weapon of choice. And that is it for today's episode of Breaking Down Battlefield 3. I hope you guys really understood what I was trying to get across today. I'll make it more understandable next time in the series. Give this video a thumbs up, it helps out a lot. Remember to follow me on Twitter, the link is down in the description. And as always, rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.